Coming up, a review of the book From Silk to Silicon, The Story of Globalization to 10 Extraordinary Lives written by Jeffrey E. Garten. Namaste friends, my name is Shinil Subramanian Payamal and you are listening to the Histology podcast. Before I proceed, a full disclosure. This book was bought with my own money and not been provided to me by the author or publisher. Little bit about the author. Jeffrey E. Garten teaches courses on the global economy at the Yale School of Management, where he was formerly the dean. He has held senior positions in the Nixon, Ford, Carter and Clinton administrations and was managing director of the Blackstone Group on Wall Street. Let me read a brief description of the book from the inside flap of the book. Quote, Globalization has often been understood as an impersonal and abstract phenomenon. Whether in everyday culture or matters of policy, this force has been experienced as something at once general and monolithic. From Silk to Silicon is the first book to look at a history of globalization as told through the lens of 10 extraordinary individuals. It tells who these men and women were, what they did, how they did it, and how their combined will and vision continue to shape our world today. Drawing together their various stories, Jeffrey E. Garten finds the common links between these figures. Placing the individual personality at the forefront of history, Garten explores some critical issues, including how much influence can any one person have in transforming our world. He argues that in an increasingly globalized world, our progress and growth will come to be guided by many more such leaders and innovators. From Silk to Silicon presents a future full of human possibility. Unquote. Apparently, the story of globalization started about 60,000 years ago when some 150,000 people walked out of Africa in search of food and security. Over many millennia, these men, women and children migrated to every part of the world. They intermarried, they traded, they spread and mixed their ideas, religions and cultures. They fought wars and built empires that brought different populations under political roofs that sometimes spanned whole continents. They created cities that became melting pots of nationalities. They developed technologies and improved communications among themselves. They formulated laws, standards and treaties governing their growing interdependencies. The story of globalization is no less than the story of human history. In From Silk to Silicon, the author has selected 9 men and 1 woman who met several criteria. First, they had to be transformational leaders. Put it this way, they had to virtually change the world. Many great leaders accomplish something with a big transaction of some kind. They win a big war, they negotiate a major treaty, they persuade a head of state to follow a new course. However, these are not necessarily transformational accomplishments. To achieve that status, leaders have to operate on a more exalted plane, as did the men and the woman the author has written about here. Transformational leaders do not exchange one thing for another, nor is their achievement the outcome of a bargain or negotiation. Nor did they invent any one thing. Instead, they opened doors to a broad array of possibilities for progress. They changed the prevailing paradigm of how society was organized. They raised the hope of broad swaths of civilization. They opened the highways on which many others could travel. The 9 men and 1 woman covered by the author in this book are: first, Genghis Khan, the 12th century leader who conquered lands from the Pacific Rim to what is now Eastern Europe, amassing the largest empire in human history. Second, Prince Henry of Portugal, who is known today as Prince Henry the Navigator, led the way in turning a nation of peasant farmers and coastal fishermen into an empire built on oceanic discovery and overseas settlements. Third, Robert Clive wasn't solely responsible for building the East India Company or for conquering India. Many other people played vital roles in shaping the company's business strategies, building its ties to India and China, expanding and training its commercial and military workforce. What Clive did, above all else, was to create the space, set the direction and stimulate the momentum that allowed the company and British control of India to grow. Fourth, Mayor Amschel Rothschild, who arose from an oppressive Jewish ghetto to establish the most powerful bank the world has seen and ushered in an era of global finance. Fifth, Cyrus Field, who became the father of global communications by leading the effort to build the transatlantic telegraph, the forerunner to global radio, TV and the worldwide internet. Sixth, John D. Rockefeller, the titan who built the energy industry and also launched global philanthropy. Seventh, Jean Monnet, who became the architect of new supranational institutions that would bring the ideal of a united Europe closer to fruition. 8th, Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, whose controversial policies opened the gusher of substantially free markets that linked economies across borders. 9th, Andy Grove, the man behind the Third Industrial Revolution, who was a Hungarian refugee from the Nazis who built the company Intel that figured out how to manufacture complex computer chips on a mass commercial scale and laid the foundation for Silicon Valley's computer revolution. 10th, Deng Xiaoping, who led China out of the wilderness. He rescued it from being an isolated backward nation in a world moving quickly toward advanced technological modernization and unprecedented prosperity, and he gave it the opportunity to become a central and vibrant part of a globalized society. Conclusion. The accomplishments of the 10 leaders mentioned above were made when the ground was shifting fundamentally under their feet and they grasped opportunity amid periods of mind-boggling change. We, too, are living in such revolutionary times as the challenges ahead amply illustrate. This brilliantly written book is just over 350 pages and it is very easy to read and fast-paced. I give this book 4.5 out of 5. The hardcover format of this book is available for around 1600 rupees on Amazon India and for 11.15 USD on Amazon USA. At the time of recording this review, the book is available in Kindle format but not in Audible format. I have given the respective buy links in the show notes. Please check them out for the latest prices. Last but not the least, thank you for spending a valuable time listening to this book review. Really grateful. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Histology podcast on your favorite podcasting app and also feel free to leave a review. Also, please check histology.com for all previous episodes. Thanks and looking forward to hearing from you. Take care and bye.